Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on just some DC news. And in the past week or so, we've had the wrap-up, aka the season finale for Creature Commandos in its first season, with us now playing the waiting game. For some it's a pretty easy game, for some it's a pretty hard game, until the month of July for the release of Superman, with no DCU content until then, at least in regards to watching a new show or a new movie, whether it's week to week or just going to the theater whenever it comes out. But this does make people think there will be a decent amount of announcements, or at least updates with other things going on due to the lack of content up until the middle of July when Superman comes out. But that will be a wait and see. Of course, there is Comic-Con, but that's going to be after Superman comes out. It's about 2 weeks after Superman comes out at the end of July. So that's a bit different. But there is some other things like CinemaCon beforehand and just press releases and stuff like that. So that might be the case, but once again, it's a wait and see. But in the past week, we got some stuff worth talking about and some stuff that had the internet talking, so let's talk about it ourselves right now. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on everything we go over. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, want to show your support, drop a like. It takes 2 seconds. So the first thing to talk about is actually just something I just saw like what, 20 minutes or half an hour before I record this video. And that's that reportedly or apparently Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow starts filming, well, today, from when I'm talking, but yesterday from when this video comes out. So it might be filming right now as I speak. And that could be something simple. Like it literally could be like the easiest shot that they've ever done just to get things going. But apparently it's in production right now as we speak, or started yesterday from when this video comes out. So that makes you wonder, okay, are you going to get any sort of like Superman experiences when they were filming where you get some set photos and stuff like that? They are filming in England. It's probably heavily going to be in studio, like not much location filming. And if they do location filming, it's not going to be in like crowded areas like where they got the Superman set photos and stuff like that. So they might be able to avoid a first look, like having to do it so they can have their own professional shot of the suit or whatever it is before it's taken by a camera a couple of 100 feet away and it looks awful, when it's uploaded to the internet. I don't know if they're going to have to do that, or they might just do a first look when they feel it's the best time to do it. I'm not too sure. They'd probably want to generate some excitement with Supergirl. It wouldn't surprise me maybe if they try and hold off maybe until after the Super Bowl, because there might be like a Superman piece during the Super Bowl that then can generate hype into them showing a Supergirl first look. But once again, I'm not too sure. But they might do a costume reveal. Once again, just depends what they're doing shooting wise. They might be shooting in an area in the next week or so that they might feel could get leaked, or something like someone might get a shot of it. So we'll wait and see. Now there is a debate over the skirt or pants that Supergirl will be potentially wearing in this film in regards to her suit. I mean, the look in Creature Commandos had her wearing a skirt, but then Gunn said that that wasn't solidified, so who knows. I think she'll wear the skirt. I'd be surprised if they went the pants, but who knows. But speaking of Superman, we did get this new look at Superman, or David Corenswet as Superman in the film Superman. I mean, once again, with this movie, this just divided people. I was like, it's a suit where it's a shot, sorry, where you don't even get you get like what, 1/8, 1/10 of the crest. And then it's just the top, and then like a debate started about his hair and stuff. I like the fact that his hair looks like he's just been flying through wind, and I think that's the case. I think this is like after he's flying, he lands and his hair looks like this. And everyone was like, oh, well, why does it look all messy and stuff? I'm like, well, he's just been flying. But then there's also the people saying they hate the slick back, sort of like it looks too neat thing. But I'd like it if he lands like this, he puts his hands through his hair and it looks all neat and tidy. I think that'd be fun. It'd be very comic booky. It'd be very Superman. So I wouldn't mind it if they did that. But yeah, it just caused a lot of unneeded, like, just drama on both sides. I'm like, God, can't we just enjoy a photo? It's very weird. But the coloring, I did see that. I think he's in like a shady area based of this. Also, the color grading could be different than like the shots from the trailer when he's in like the Arctic and he's laying in the snow. Like the color looks different here on this suit. But we don't know. Maybe it's wet. He could be wet. His head looks wet. Maybe the suit gets wet and it gets darker, like when you're wearing a shirt. Like if you're wearing a red shirt, a blue shirt, a grey shirt, if you jump in water, it comes out darker, doesn't it? So maybe that happens with the suit as well. I don't know. And one final thing Superman related for this video specifically, and that's in regards to promotion for the Superman film. And we did mention the Super Bowl before, But hold on, we're not going to the Super Bowl, at least not confirming it here. We're going to the Puppy Bowl. So this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter, and they say Warner Brothers Discovery is using one of its tentpole annual events in a major marketing push for its biggest film of the year. The company is bringing back the Puppy Bowl for its 21st installment this year, but will use the game to bolster its upcoming DC Comics film, Superman, which is meant to jumpstart James Gunn and Peter Safran's new DC cinematic universe. In fact, WBD, or Warner Brothers Discovery, says that Gunn will appear during the Puppy Bowl with his dog Ozu, who served as the inspiration for the superdog Crypto in the film. Gunn will introduce a sneak preview of Superman and deliver a, quote, special message to viewers. In addition, one pup participating in the game will be awarded the Crypto Super Player Award. While the connection between puppies playing football and comic book superheroes might seem strained, given the prominent role that Crypto plays in the film, there is some logic at play in the move. Warner Bros. Discovery says that last year's event had 12.6 million viewers across its simulcast. Now, in regards to this, I mean, promotion is promotion. You gotta do, I mean, you see some weird promotion. Sometimes stuff that has nothing to do with the project. You'll see, like, let's just say it could be Superman, for example, but it goes on like Dancing with the Stars or some like weird promotion. You get weird crossover promotion and stuff like this. And yeah, the Puppy Bowl seems like a very weird thing. But when you involve Crypto, and they say the special message to viewers, obviously along with that sneak preview of Superman, which, let's be honest, that sneak preview is going to be Crypto focused. I've seen talk about what that could be, if whether it's just going to be an extended scene from that bit in the trailer where he drags Superman, or it could be maybe Superman and Crypto meeting for the first time, or there was that thing filmed on set where it was like Mr. Terrific, I think, trying to like get, like, Crypto might have taken something, he was trying to like grab Crypto or something. It could be that scene. We don't know exactly what it's going to be, but you would assume that the sneak preview is going to be Crypto focused, not just involve Crypto, but I think Crypto focused. But the special message to viewers is, I think, going to be adopt, don't shop, or at least look into adoption with dogs, or if you know, whatever it might be. Because I think his dog, Ozu, is a rescue dog. So I'd assume that's what it's going to be. Like, I'm not the biggest fan that Crypto looks the way he does. I prefer if Crypto looked what I like Crypto to look like, which is like a Labrador Golden Retriever. I mean, sort of like my dog. I sort of like prefer if Crypto sort of looks like that for the most part. And then some like it when he's like a big wolf, you know, sort of like that. But whatever. I don't mind the sort of the backstory behind why Gunn put his dog in there. Arguably, I've seen some people say like it's not the case of self-inserting, but I mean, it's a dog. It's not James Gunn as a dog. If that was the case, it'd be a bit weird, but it's just a dog. It's not James Gunn as a dog. But I mean, 12.6 million viewers across the simulcast. I mean, you're going to do it, aren't you? Like, it's like, you think about like the trailer's gotten like what, over 50 million views, and people have to willingly click on that and stuff. This is 12.6, where, especially if it's like a key moment, which I'd assume that they would do, it's easy, isn't it? And also the people that are going to be watching, like, it's going to be families. So Superman's going to be a family movie. Arguably, this could be the better use of money and time than the Super Bowl, where sometimes people go to the toilet during an ad break and stuff when a trailer's playing, or they're not really focusing on the TV. They're talking to their friends, or their mum or dad or their sister or whatever it is. So I don't think it's a bad piece of marketing. I've seen people criticizing it, but it might seem a bit corny, but I think it's probably one of the better pieces I've seen from not just what they're doing so far with DC, but arguably any big project coming up this year. But to be fair, Superman's really the only one that started its promotional stuff. Fantastic Four and Jurassic World, Superman's biggest competitors, and arguably the two movies that probably already have a head start in regards to just like in-depth fan, traction going to it. They haven't released anything yet, and their first trailers are probably going to be during the Super Bowl. So we'll wait and see how it plays out post Super Bowl in regards to who comes out the better. But it'll be interesting to see if Superman does have a Super Bowl spot as well alongside this Puppy Bowl thing. But they might just use the Puppy Bowl. I don't know. And the final thing to talk about is probably the thing that had most people talking. Well, this is the story that had the most people talking, definitely, out of anything we're going over today. Most likely in a negative light. And this is around The Flash and Andy Muschietti addressing its performance in the box office. And this is a report coming from Variety, because they sort of sum it up pretty well. They say the Flash director, Andy Muschietti, has his own thoughts as to why the $200 million tentpole was a box office dud. Released in 2023, The Flash grossed $271 million by the end of its run. It is not a small figure by any means, but considering the budget size, as I said before, $200 million, and projected marketing costs alongside that, the DC blockbuster needed to double that figure to get out of the red. Muschietti said the reason The Flash couldn't recoup cost was because it failed to hit all four quadrants of moviegoer demographics, men over 25, men under 25, women over 25, women under 25, despite Warner Brothers' best efforts. Just to pause here quickly, in that same year, we had Barbie come out, and that was one of the key things around the promotion for that film was getting those 4 quadrants into the theater. And I think Margot Robbie talked about it, where through their analysis and stuff like that, they knew they sort of hit those markets well before the movie even came out. And then we saw how it did in the box office, and they obviously achieved that. So The Flash failed to do that in its marketing and stuff like that, while Barbie achieved that. So they were both in the same sort of area. Barbie won, The Flash lost. With Muschietti saying The Flash failed, among all the other reasons, because it wasn't a movie that appealed to all 4 quadrants, it failed at that. When you spend $200 million making a movie, Warner Brothers wants to bring even your grandmother to the theaters. Muschietti went on to say that behind closed doors he found people, quote, don't care about The Flash as much as other beloved DC icons like Batman or Superman. He noted this is especially true in the women under and over 25 demographics. With him saying, I've found in private conversations that a lot of people just don't care about the Flash as a character, particularly the 2 female quadrants. All of that is just the wind going against the film, I've learned. Outside of box office woes, it's pretty funny that they mentioned this, the Flash was plagued by lengthy delays and off-camera issues with star Ezra Miller. And I mean, that's a really important thing to emphasize, is the outside issues with this film. Not only the Ezra Miller thing, but also the delays. But I think the delays is probably, like, in regards to like the general audience, is pushed to the side. But I think it's definitely the context of DC live action at that point. We knew we were heading into a reboot. Word of mouth would go around about that. And also, it's not like the string of DC movies leading up to it was necessarily that of a big of a shining light. Like, because we had the pandemic, but really after that, like, you had no movie was successful outside of the Batman, and even some argue that somewhat underperformed considering it was Batman. I don't know if it necessarily underperformed, but it didn't hit $1 billion. I think that's essentially what people mean. But that context is very important to remember when it comes to the Flash and his performance, because everyone goes, well, it wasn't a great movie. I disagree. I enjoy the movie a lot. I think it's actually a very good movie. I think it's one of the top DCEU films. Across the board, across the entire thing. You know, we're not going to jump into, you know, whether you're right or wrong in regards to thinking it's good or bad. That's not the point of this. But a lot of bad movies make money because it's all about how you advertise it. And the advertising, a lot of people, especially if you're on Twitter and stuff during the time, they're like, hey, this looks pretty good. It's really when the movie was coming out. Then people like were going against it. And there was always that Ezra Miller factor as well. And I think a lot of the hate towards the movie is really just specifically because it's Ezra Miller. Like, if I'm being completely honest, in regards to like the targeted and like over the top hate, saying it's the worst movie ever made and stuff like that. But you know what? That's Warner Brothers' fault. And I always said that, look, if you wanted to stick with Ezra Miller and you thought Ezra Miller was the best choice to go ahead with the movie, 100% go with it. That it's your movie. You get to do it. But you also live and die by that sword. You are always going to live and die by that sword or by that choice. And look what happened. They easily could have recast the role, and I don't think anyone would have complained because you would have understood. You got to remember, all this stuff with Ezra Miller happened essentially before the movie was filmed. Well, you're not actually, sorry, the Hawaii stuff happened after, from memory. That incident in Iceland and even some of the other stuff that was brought up happened before, which apparently Warner Brothers knew about. And obviously some of it is, you know, it goes on like a bit of a spectrum in regards to how bad or really unimportant it is. But there was some stuff there that definitely questioned continuing on with the film with Ezra Miller in the lead role. And then that plays into the advertisement campaign, which Andy Muschietti, he doesn't bring it up here actually, but it was sort of, it might have been like another interview or something he slightly references, but it was the fact that like with the promotional campaign, there was no lead campaign person. There was no Ezra Miller there. Like, if you're going to see Captain America, the new Captain America, who's going to be doing the face of the campaign? Anthony Mackie. If you're going to go see Superman later this year, who's going to be front and center? David Corenswet. If you go and see the Batman Part 2, Robert Pattinson, those are the characters or the actors and the face of the campaign that are going to be there. It's sort of weird when you're advertising The Flash and the person who's doing the most press is Supergirl, who is not even in the movie as much as someone else like Michael Keaton's Batman. He's in the movie more than Supergirl. It was a very weird campaign because of that, and Warner Brothers dug their own hole with that. I did bring it up before with Barbie. I do feel that Barbie was a bit under the radar in regards to how important I think Warner Brothers thought it was going to be, and once they started seeing the momentum with that, I think they shifted a lot of their, okay, this is our big movie of the year, when I think entering the year, The Flash was, and I think they shifted all the Flashes, like, they just went for like a word of mouth approach with The Flash, and that's why they did those CinemaCon screenings. If you remember, they did the CinemaCon screening. I think it was multiple actually, but they invited people specifically to CinemaCon just to watch that movie on that day. They won't do that ever again with any other film. Like, you go to CinemaCon, fair enough, but not just, you're invited specifically just to watch this movie. You go to Las Vegas just to watch The Flash. It's a bit odd, but that's what happened. But the thing is that this is come and gone. This is all in the past. There's no point sort of reflecting back on it. I'm sort of surprised that Andy Muschietti jumped into over-the-top details with this. There's all this speculation about whether he will or will not continue with The Brave and the Bold and stuff. I don't know. I've saw people like saying like this should be a reason why he's kicked off the movie. I think that's a bit of a over-the-top, silly internet reaction. But I am surprised he would sort of try and blame people for the reason it didn't work. Like, there's multiple factors. Even the box office analysts were confused when the movie didn't necessarily do well. There were some saying they didn't think it was going to do as well as maybe Warner Brothers had hoped, but the fact that it only made 271 million is insane. And no box office analyst would have predicted that low. So just things went against it, multiple factors went against it, both with the actual general audience as well as like people in the know and stuff like that. But that's the thing when you do these big movies. You take a big swing. Sometimes you're going to hit a home run. You're going to make a lot of money, whether it's $1 billion or more. Sometimes you're going to swing and you're going to miss and you're not going to make any money or lose money in this case. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on everything we went over in this video. Always curious to where you guys are thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.